Dreamers can't be tamed.
Oh! Did that come up at all in the experience? Like the idea of death?
No, I don't think so. Even though I'm not scared of death, I don't think anyone is really truly scared of death.
I think there are a lot of people that are scared of death.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. I think my mom is one of them. My mom is terrified of that. She doesn't want to see me because she's afraid of COVID. She's like,
but I don't think she's scared of death.
No, that's what she's scared of. She's scared of getting the virus and dying. Yeah,
Well,
I think
guess
there are a lot
that right
of
now,
people.
yeah, that could be a possibility.
I think
but
with death is just like
I think they're just scared of
the uncertainty.
the uncertainty.
It's the ultimate uncertainty. Like you cannot project at all what happens.
I don't know if they're scared of death itself, though.
I
don't-
thought about it.
Have you thought about that?
Like I thought about it like yesterday. I told you when I got high, and I was thinking about death, and I was like, I brought myself to that moment where like I know I'm going to die, right?
Yeah.
And it's like almost the same feeling like when you go on a roller coaster, and you know that you're about to go over, but in the roller coaster, you know what's going to happen. You see it, you can understand it. Like you don't know if you're going to make it technically, but you have a good probability that you'll be okay.
Mhm.
With death, it was like that same feeling.
Yeah.
But you have no idea what's going to happen. Like, to me, that blew my mind. It was like, oh, it's the ultimate version of uncertainty. It's like not knowing nothing. And I think people who like believe in something after, right? For example, God, afterlife, resurrection, whatever the case may be, right? A new dimension, something different. That gives some form of certainty when you do reach that point, when you know you're going to die.
Yeah.
Because like if you believe your entire life,
So, do you think your mom thinks?
I think my
an
mom has
afterlife?
become more religious now as she's getting older. Because it's pretty interesting. My mom was like almost like a Buddhist for a while, you know, and now has been speaking a lot about Jesus and God and this when it wasn't something that she used to talk about before.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you think about religion, you're creating some form of certainty in your life for like the answers that are coming into your life or the afterlife of it. This is why there's so many different religions, because it gives us some form of hope. And when we have hope, there's like purpose.
Yeah.
And when you have purpose, you can continue doing the best, becoming the best version of yourself. So like, I was wondering if like the car accident that you had triggered anything during the ayahuasca experience of like certainty after death.
Certainty after death. Well,
What do you think happens after death?
I think what happens after death is that you return to your state, because it's your soul that goes. Your soul never dies. Matter's never created or destroyed, and your soul is not created or destroyed. So I think that your body decays, but your soul goes back to the universe, and it could be reincarnated to anything else. And that's why a lot of people, when they see someone and they're like, oh, I feel like I know you or something.
Mhm.
Part of it could be like they remind them of someone, or it could be that they've actually met in some way, or I don't know, their energy they feel has been similar to something else that they've known, or it could be that they actually have met. But I hope that if I get reincarnated, which I will be, it could be in an animal of some sort. I'd like to see it. Yeah. It feels cool.
And animals?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of animal?
I don't know. Maybe like a panther. I don't know.
Maybe black.
Or a bird.
I think a bird would be pretty cool.
Yeah, because you can have a bird's view.
Sometimes yesterday I thought about it, I was like, what happens if all of this is just like Elon Musk has? It's a simulation.
Yeah.
Just a fucking video game
Mhm.
of somebody's life. You know how we play video games and Sims?
Yeah.
We're a sim.
What do you
That
think
makes-
is the meaning
The meaning?
if we are a simulation?
Maybe to calculate different possible scenarios of outcomes. I don't know. I don't think we're supposed to know.
No.
I don't think it matters. Because it's very easy to get into that like loop
Yeah.
of things. But
What do you think love is?
ooh, love, like the actual emotion, or like my definition of love.
Mm-hmm.
Which one, the latter?
Yeah.
I believe love is being able to see a version of yourself in someone else and accept that. The imperfections, the things you like about yourself, the things you don't like about yourself in someone else. Because I believe that when you don't like somebody or you have trouble with somebody, it's because there's certain aspects of you that you see in an individual, which could be like your parents, It could be like your mom, your dad, and you don't like the certain aspect of your mom and dad, but in reality, it's because you have that certain aspect of yourself, and this other person also portrays this characteristic. So then it's hard for you to accept them.
So that's romantic love, or what, platonic love?
But any relationship, I think.
Okay.
Like, I think it's being able to see yourself in someone else. So it goes hand in hand with like empathy. Like empathy is what allows you to really love somebody, is because you can understand where they've been and show true compassion and true kindness.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important in all relationships. Like, for example, I had trouble with my dad a lot, because I'm a lot like him.
But you love your dad.
Of course, I love my dad.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually like feel love for my dad. I actually feel love for my mom. Where before it was more like, I love my mom, I love my dad. Yeah, I know that. But I actually feel that for them.
Why? Why now versus before?
Because I see myself. And
do you think it's because you understand yourself a little better?
More, yeah, of course. I think so. I think that plays a big role into it. So like, when it comes to like, when you know what you want, you can kind of tell what you want to change, I believe. I think when you don't know what you want, you're constantly seeking for something to create purpose or justification in your life, which doesn't allow you to love. So
but there's an acceptance in that. You can also accept that, at this moment, I don't know what I want, and that's okay. I think acknowledging that you don't know what you want too, that could also be...
That could be very powerful, right? Like being accepting of that, and I think that's accepting self and understanding self.
A lot of people don't know what they want.
Yeah, but they're not necessarily accepting of it.
Mm-hmm. So
then it creates turmoil and duality in their life, because then they think they know what they want, but they don't know what they want.
And that's okay, I think.
But I think it's awareness.
Yeah.
That has to happen.
I think love is unconditional. Love is, whether it's a friend, a parent, a romantic relationship, a child, it's just unconditional. It's something that you feel because you have it inside of you. You have that ability to have love for yourself, to have love for others, and it's free. Mm-hmm. That's it. So
how does someone really love unconditionally?
How?
Yeah, like how do we know that we're loving unconditionally?
That's a good question.
And like to me, it always boils back down to awareness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you don't have the awareness to understand you, essentially, why you do the things you do, what triggers you, what makes you feel certain emotions, and how can you truly love unconditionally if everything comes with a condition?
Why? Why would it come with a condition?
Because, okay, let's talk about romantic relationships, right? Most people have trouble in romantic relationships, especially now with social media and all the stuff. There's many variables that go into that. One of them being the expectations that they place on themselves, right? So we have men who expect certain things out of a relationship with a woman. We have women that expect certain things out of a relationship with a man, all based on the desire, goals, or things they want in their life. So they decide to go into a relationship, not for the sake of being with somebody, but for the sake of the possibility of creating a future with this individual, which is okay, right? But like, what is the true intent? So, and I think we talked about this before, when you actually get into a relationship with somebody and you start building the stories of how this relationship could look like based on what you know, the version of the person that you know right now. And that story that you're creating in your mind of what your future may look like based off the person or the version of the person you know right now is unfair to that person, because that person is going to change.
Exactly.
So how is that love unconditional in that moment? Because
that hasn't happened yet. So you so you essentially love people. That's romantic love. So I think for romantic love, first of all, two people would be compatible in the ways that their values are. Mm-hmm. It is in the way that, maybe their hobbies that they like. You want to kind of have someone that you have maybe similar hobbies. You don't have to, but I think most people...
Things in the expression of it.
Also the way they communicate. I think that also plays a role in whether you can be with someone long term. Because if you don't understand something, or the way that you communicate with someone, or what they're trying to tell you, or, it's not going to work. You can learn to, communicate effectively, but I think that's very key in a successful relationship. And, attraction, of course, having attraction.
But what I was trying to get at before was that that, for example, like you and I, right? If I decided that I'm going to build this life and Haiti's going to be in this life, I have you envisioned in my life and I have these expectations. What I'm doing as an individual right now is because I'm looking at the version of who you are right now, Haiti, 2020, November 15, right? There's this version of Haiti that fits my story. Now,
Your current
I
story.
feel love for you because of the story that I created in my mind and showing, look at the future I can build with Haiti. That love right there to me is conditional in the sense that I feel that right now because of the story that I'm building in my head versus not setting expectations, which is a really hard thing to do because the individual themselves has to have the awareness to see, like, am I placing these expectations and stories on Haiti versus now me looking at Haiti and seeing the imperfections, her stories, her expectations, her visions of the future, and looking at it and appreciating that for who she is right now in this moment in time, which means all the emotions that come with that, the annoyances that someone may feel when you do things that I don't like. Let's say, for example, I don't like the amazing things that you do that show a future with you, the things that you don't do that don't show a future, like truly accepting all of that in that moment and then committing yourself to learning more about this individual. To me, that's unconditional love because truly being in the present moment versus what I see a lot with clients and a lot of my friends is that they're so eager to have a relationship or want to be with somebody because of the expectations of it, of what they want in their life or the validation that they want to get by being appreciated by somebody else. And that's what I think. And I think the same thing happens with parents. There are a bunch of kids that, and even young adults that look at their parents and create expectations of like, what is my parent supposed to do? And when they don't do it, it's like my dad doesn't love me or my mom doesn't love me or my sister doesn't give a shit about me. You know, but I think like my best friend, Jay, I love him. I love him to death. Me and him don't really hang out. We don't have much interest or hobbies that we do together. And we can go months without speaking to each other and come back together. And it's like nothing happened. No love lost. No, it's just like, that's unconditional love. It's like a dog coming home to you every day. You yell at the dog's still going to love you.
That's interesting you mentioned Jay because I know you really care about him and that's been your friend.
Since third grade.
You guys have this loyalty to each other and like an unspoken bond. Similar to me and Shay, my friend. But she lives in Florida now, pregnant with her first child. I moved a year ago, but we still stay connected very often. I'll FaceTime her every now and then. And it's the same thing as if she were here.
Right? It's like you never lost touch or contact with them. How do you know if you love someone?
How do you know? I think you just know. I think you know because you care about them.
But can you care about somebody and not love them?
Yeah. But not the same way. Not like, I mean, you care about them, but to love someone is to, it's like I said, it's unconditional.
Do you feel like love is something that you have or something that you do?
I think it's both. Yes, because you choose to love someone. And you can love someone and not be with them too.
Yes, I agree with
That's
that.
okay. I think if you want to be with someone, then you love them. Because love is not enough either.
No.
To be with someone. You know, if you're talking about like creating a life with someone and you love them, then everything else has to kind of fall into place too. Meaning that's the person you're gonna raise kids with. That's the person you're gonna see their face every day. You know? You're gonna have to wanna be around them.
So then my thing is, all right, so let's say that you find someone that you love, right? That you just feel this love for that person, right? But when you look at them, it's hard to see a future with this individual. Then you find another individual that you care about, you love, but it's not the same thing. But you look at this individual and you can say, I can make a life with this individual. He could be a good father, a good provider, X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. How does someone look at that situation and make a decision on something like that?
Yeah. I think you have to love the person. Like just But that happens in a lot of cultures where it's an arranged marriage, maybe, and they could grow to love that person, but it's more of a transactional kind of thing. Or, I guess they grow to love that person. Like, it can go so many ways.
I think like love is a perception almost. Like you get, and because perception, you have control of perception. You can decide to love somebody, like truly feel that for someone.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
I don't believe in soulmates. So.
Me either. I don't believe in soulmates.
I think that's
bullshit.
No, I don't think it's bullshit. I think it works for some people.
But it's a belief. It's a decision and perception.
I think it will disappoint many people when they realize they don't have a soulmate. It's just, it's like, oh, well, you are setting yourself up for disappointment.
Because it's an expectation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. And like if you think about it, there's 7 billion people on this planet. Somehow only one is made for you. Yeah. And like mathematically, it's not possible.
I think you could have a twin flame though.
A twin flame?
Yeah.
What's a twin flame?
That's when you have someone that you just like, you're flamingly passionate for. You could have love for that person. I'm getting a little hungry, by the way. But sidebar.
This is her way of telling me that podcast is coming close to an end because she needs to feed herself.
That's a love language. Food. But speaking of love languages, that is a great book, or just you can find it online at lovelanguages.com and figure out how you
put a plug in my
a little bit
of a product that you don't even own.
People should know about it because it will help them to communicate better or to figure out how they receive love and how they give love, and that makes people's lives so much easier when it comes to showing. And because you could get frustrated with filling someone's cup. So if like you're someone who gives a lot of love in a certain way and you are disappointed with the way you're receiving love, it's probably because you don't understand how that other person is giving love, and they're doing it in their own way.
I agree with that. And I think that comes all the way down to commitment. Like falls back on awareness with what you want in your life, how you're establishing expectations, and then creating clear expectations with each other, with whatever the relationship is, and being able to provide clear communication for different love languages.
Yeah, I think so.
I think most people don't. Well, people who have trouble with relationships, any type of relationship, are looking for some type of external validation in themselves through somebody else, but don't have the awareness to see that that's what's actually happening. Like, I believe have you ever heard internal and external locus of control? Mm-hmm. Where you believe that, if it's internal control, you have control over the things that happen in your life. And external locus of control is saying that you don't have control over it, that you need external forces that are actually controlling what's actually happening in your life. And too far into the extreme in either side is not good. You need a balance of both, because someone who has too much internal locus of control will constantly blame themselves for the failures that they've had in their lives. So then you have external, they blame everything outside of them. So when you look at relationships, based on how someone talks and speaks about the relationship, you can see whether they have internal or external locus of control. And a lot of people, I guess, aren't aware or vulnerable enough to have take accountability over why their relationships might have failed, or even understand how the other person's behavior or mindset or language in that relationship was a damage or harm to you and your growth. So it comes back down to awareness and vulnerability every single time. And the commitment to that awareness and vulnerability is a commitment to somebody else.
A commitment to vulnerability is a commitment to somebody else. Yeah.
Drop mic, fire.